Again, I'm here with the wonderful Jasmine Dayton. And Jasmine, do you want to give like a little intro kind of about your channel, a little
Yeah,
plug?
sure thing. My name is Jasmine. I am also in Montana, like Helena is. So that's really fun. That's something that we both we both share. Speaking of Montana, wow, it's freezing outside.
Right.
Like so freaking cold. I think, well, I don't know how cold it is for you because depending on where you are in Montana, it just depends on how cold it is. Right now it's like 1 degree or like 6, something like crazy like that.
Mine's -8 right now.
Okay, you win. Yeah,
About the same.
so it gets to a certain point where it doesn't matter what temperature it is, it's just cold.
It's just
So
cold.
on my channel, I do obviously a lot of writing since I am on AuthorTube. Something else that I have been trying to get into is watching movies that are based on books and seeing like how well they did on representing the book well and the characters, or like things they added into film that were good. And I read books and I judge them. That's like a big thing that I do whenever I read books. So yeah, that's basically what you can find on my channel.
I just watched your video when you did the book review on song or the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh
I
yes.
loved that, you guys. If you have not seen that video, go check it out. Jasmine's channel is linked down below. It should be. Let me
Thank
know if it is.
you.
I'm pretty sure I linked it.
Oh,
It is awesome. And then I see
thank
that
you.
Zara and Maddie are also here. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And also, Jasmine, what are you going to be working on today? I think I remember you saying a novella. Is
Yeah,
that right?
a novella. I am working on a novella. I have like way too many work in progresses, which usually I don't do. But because all the projects are like a little bit different and they're like either really short or really long, I'm kind of just like making it random. So that
Okay.
kind of makes it fun. I don't know if like you've ever used this website. It's basically just called the Wheel of Names. I know a lot of people use it for giveaways, but I just type in the titles of all my work in progresses and then I spin the wheel and it chooses it for me.
Hey, what is it? The Wheel of Names?
The Wheel of Names. It's like a super like simple site. It looks like anybody could have made it because it's
I'm
like
writing it down.
super bare bones. So that's what I've been doing. But I would definitely love to work on my novella today because that's something I've been wanting to like finish by the middle of the year. So that's probably what I'll be working on.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love novellas. I've been. Wait, am I echoing? I feel like I'm echoing a little bit. Maybe
I
it's just on my end.
know, but I don't know if anybody else is hearing it. You're fine on my end, so.
Okay. No, I was gonna say like I really want to write a novella because I mean I love writing novels. That's what I've
Yeah.
mostly written is novels, but I feel like there's something I wrote a novelette in December
Uh-huh.
and I feel like there's something nice about having that shorter, like it's still a story, you still have time to like sit with the characters and explore, but it's still like it's shorter, so it's not as
Yeah.
much like of a
You get
commitment.
that like instant satisfaction of finishing a story, which is hard when you do a novel because novels are long, and especially if you do series. Like one of the work in progresses that I'm doing is basically just editing a trilogy that I had written previously. It's all in first draft, so it's terrible, but it's taken me so long, like literally years. But I'm like really dedicated to it because it's my favorite story that I've written so far. But I'm like, it's gonna be nice to write a novella and like, yeah, a novella and just be done. Like, just be like, wow, I did the whole thing instead of working on years for like one project. So it's really
Yeah.
nice in that way. Because I used to be super anti short story, where I'm like, no, like series are nothing. And then I realized, it'd be nice to do something.
Yes, I used to be so bad because I mean, I still am. I'm a person, I
Oh, me
struggle with
too.
summarizing or keeping things concise. But then
Uh-huh.
I actually took a college writing one class, one of my first semesters of college, and it was just basically for college essays. But we did one assignment where he made us write, it was like a this I believe essay
Uh-huh.
or whatever, and he made us write it like 1,200 words. So he made us get at least 1,200 words, turn it in, and then our next assignment was to cut it down to 600 words.
Oh, that's the
And that
worst.
one assignment was so like it was awful, but something about that was like it just like blew my mind a little bit. I was like, whoa, like I can condense so much of my writing
I
by
can do
taking out
this.
these filler words. So now I'm
Mhm.
really into short stories after that one assignment. I was like, I
That's
can
really
do
cool.
this.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, one of the most stressful things that I did during writing was I entered like a short story contest and they said you can't have more than I think it was like 3,000 words. And I'm like,
Dang.
how am I supposed to like introduce a character, introduce a plot, fulfill the plot, have a climax, and like all of this stuff in 3,000 words? And I mean, I did it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't as hard as I thought it would be, but it was hard. Like it was a brain block for me that I had to get over.
Yeah. I used to enter when this is when I was like really little. I used to enter our library had like a writing contest every summer, and it was 2,000 words was the limit. But even as like a
Yeah,
middle schooler, I was like, only 2,000 words? I
yeah,
can't
like
work
a
with
book a
that.
day. Oh my gosh, yeah,
But
it's hard, but it's worth it. It is worth it in the end because you get
and,
the story right away. So and it makes you
uh,
feel.
and I feel like it depends on the story too. Some stories are good for the shorter, you know. And Jasmine's channel is linked. Okay, we
Bessie,
good.
sorry, my dog made an entrance.
Can I see the puppy? Ah!
Hey.
Can I ask what kind of dog it is?
She is part Great Pyrenees, part Border Collie.
Oh my goodness.
I know, I wasn't expecting you. Thank you.
So
Yes.
precious. I'm sure if I let my dog in, she would try to jump on my lap too, except she's a German Shepherd, so I don't really want her to do
Oh,
that right
I love German Shepherds. Lassie loves German Shepherds too. She loves playing like with the really, really like big, like the really big dogs, and that makes me happy because she's also partially a big dog.
now. Aw. I used to have a dachshund who hated any animal that was bigger than him, so needless to say, he hated most animals because he was not a big dog.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Oh man.
Maddie said, I have a short story I wrote for my creative writing class that I was super proud of, then it kept getting rejected from magazines.
You know what? That was the magazine's fault, not you.
That's true. And yeah, it sucks with magazines because sometimes they have such specific like guidelines, that they want, and usually it's not a reflection of the story. Yeah,
Lassie, come here. Hi.
doggo. Also, I love the name Lassie. That's so cute.
Oh, thank you. Hi, yeah, I know. I know. You're so distracting. Oh my gosh.
I am good to jump into a sprint if you're okay with that,
Yeah,
Jasmine.
that would be
Um,
great.
I do have a 15-minute timer loaded up if that's okay to just jump into, and then after that we can kind of like take suggestions for times and stuff.
Love it. Sounds good.
Sweet. All right, let me see if I remember how to do this. Okay, okay.
You know, it's
15
tricky
minutes.
whenever you're trying to like figure out different screens. At the last live I did, I was so stressed out because I'm like, how do I share one screen and not a screen?
I know. I haven't done like I used to do live streams so often, and then I stopped for a while, and now I'm like, wait, what do I do first? Okay, wait, yeah, okay. I think we
Oh
got
my
it.
gosh. Perfect.
All right, so 15 minutes are on the clock. I'm gonna go ahead and start the timer in 3, 2, 1. All right, that is the time, you guys.
Every time the timer goes off, it always like catches me off guard. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because at that point, I'm like in the zone where I'm like, yeah, like let's do this and this. And then the timer goes off. I'm like, I was just getting started. Dang it.
Especially this timer. This timer is really like beep, 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 beep.
I really I kept on trying to like check the timer because I'm like, I feel like I've been writing for a while. I'm like, oh cool, I have 9 minutes left. And then all of a sudden it's like, you have 1 minute left.
Yes. I feel like I just start getting in the zone about like the 9-10 minute mark. And then I'm like, okay, I'm in the zone. And then once I'm in the zone, I just don't even process. I'm like, oh, I have time. I haven't been here that long. Like you were saying. No, the timer always gets me.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, how did everybody do for that sprint? Good? That's awesome.
I was like trying to figure out what exactly to do. Like right when the timer went on, I'm like, okay, I know the project I'm working on, but like, what am I doing? And I realized I had all these edits that I had to do. So I'm like, well, that's an easy go-to.
Nice.
Ah.
That's good. I was boring. I read my humanities textbook. Which actually is interesting. We're on an interesting chapter. I really like this class. I was talking about this in another live stream because it's exploring like different cultures and time periods used like through their art and their literature and their mythology and their philosophy and their architecture. So that's like really fun to learn about. And I like the teacher because you can tell when the professor is like he really is passionate about what he's teaching.
Right.
Because this professor literally on his lecture he spent like 30 minutes comparing romantic era literature to Star Wars, and it was the best thing I'd listened to like all week.
Oh
I was
my
like,
gosh.
yes.
That's hilarious. Okay, love that. I remember my husband took a humanities class a little bit beforehand. He's like, I really like this class. I didn't think I would, but I really do. And he would tell me like these little fun facts. Like, did you know like all of these things about like, you know, like humans and how they've developed and stuff like that. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like there are some things that just people did a lot different back then rather than right now. So it's fun to explore that for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, and I didn't even know that humanities was a thing, honestly. Like I mean I've heard it. I didn't know like what it meant. Like I don't think I would have gone to college like with humanities in mind straight off the bat, but I ended up taking a humanities class to fulfill a credit and I was like, "Hey, I actually really like this."
I know, like how would it be to actually like major in humanities or something like that? Like that would definitely be like a fun job. I don't know what you do with the major. Maybe you guys what to do with the humanities major, but it sounds fun.
Yeah. I know. I'm at that point. I'm working toward my associative arts with a focus in humanities because I'm like, I don't know where I'm going after. I like humanities. I don't know what I'm going to do with humanities, but we're going to see. That's something I like. Don't know. We'll see. And then Autumn had popped in. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. No, I was good. I was just saying that, like, I agree.
Yeah, so I was just saying that Autumn had popped in. I don't know if you're still here, Autumn, but hello if you are.
And then your guys' video. That was so fun.
Yes, we were all so scared. We were all like, because I'm so bad about sharing my stories with people.
Oh, it's terrifying.
I was like doing it live, and I was like, "This is draft 1. This is live." Like, it was fun. And then Tessa is here. My novel's called Rose Gold Snowboarder.
That's an intriguing title.
Is it? Can I ask if it's like a contemporary?
I'm like, what could it be about?
Yes, I like it. And Yaza is here. It's nearly 1:30 a.m.
Where are you? What in the world?
Yaza is from Australia, right?
Got it. Yeah.
Pretty sure. Trying to get sleep for the past 2 hours. I don't think it's going to happen. So, Yaza, you're amazing. I thank you for hopping in at 1:30 a.m.
Oh my gosh. I've noticed that most of the people that I've met on AuthorTube are either from America, Australia, or England. Like, spots. So I'm like, I don't know what's in the water over here, but
I know.
Where like authors are like, hey, I want to make friends that are like me.
Yes. Well, that's why I was so excited too to find an author tuber who's from Montana because I was like, I didn't even think
No,
there was going to be another author tuber in Montana. I don't know because I feel like
right?
Montana is such a, I mean, it's rural compared to other
Yeah.
states, I guess, for the most part. There's not
Mhm.
as many people, but
And it's all spread out too. It's not, yeah. There's like a, I mean, there's not too many people here, all things considered, like being a state. Like, I think there's like a million people. And I grew up in California. So
oh yeah.
many people there. So I really love it up here. But like, yeah, everyone's really spread out because basically, like, if you're in like the west side of the state, you can really like only live in like Kalispell, Missoula. And if you're in the east, it's like mainly like Billings, Helena. Those are like the hot spots. And then
Yeah.
everything is like super rural. So,
Yes.
so
Also,
super,
it was
yeah.
yeah. Also, it was really nice. I was gonna say when I was scheduling this live stream, I'm like, this is nice because I don't have to be like, okay, so my time zone, it's
Right.
this time, and then it was just nice. I don't mind. Like I've gotten pretty good about figuring out time zones in my head, but this was just really nice because I'm like, oh, okay, ten
I feel
o'clock for
bad.
you is 10 o'clock for me.
Yeah, I feel bad for the poor people that I've like done lives with in Australia. They're like, "Hey, it's 7 a.m." Like, I'm sorry, where it's like 3 p.m. for us. It's just like, oh yeah, it's middle of the day, it's fine. And they're like, I'd
Just
wait.
rolled out of bed. I'm like, I don't know how you do it. Like I like getting stuff done in the mornings, but I struggle when I do live streams.
Mhm.
It's hard because it's morning.
Oh yeah, like when I did the live stream last week on my channel, I was so dead, and I just opened this up and I was like, I'm not gonna be talkative. Like, I know this is a live stream and you're supposed to talk, but I can't.
I feel like I usually have to just chug coffee because like again like I do my best work in the morning, but
Yeah.
I guess not like my best socializing in the morning, if that makes sense. Like I'm still in my mind a lot in the morning, so the social aspect isn't there until about the afternoon.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it because my best work has been in the morning too, and I hate mornings. So I'm like, I don't know how this works, but it does. And it's great. Usually I don't have to talk to people when I write. So
And then yes, Yaza is the Australian Batman.
good to know.
I have no idea how that got started, but it's like a running joke now. I don't remember where that first came up. And then Tessa said, my main character is named Helene Foy. Aw. She has a loving family of 6. I decided since the official Helene Foy inspires me. Aw. Thank you. That just
Love
made my day.
it.
It's awesome. And then Geo is here. Hello. My fingers get lost in like the blinding light behind me, so it's like just my palm.
Oh man.
He's a snowboarder. Ooh, and competes with the Crimson Frost competition ski lodge. Ooh, I wish I was a snowboarder. I feel like since I'm in Montana, I should do that.
There's so many people who are like, wait, you're from Montana and you don't know how to ski or snowboard? I'm like, no.
No. Don't you have mountains? Yeah. Don't you have snow? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what do you do with them? I look at them. They're pretty.
Yeah, they're real pretty.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I wish I could. Like, I would love to learn, I think. But the thing is that I have a lot of friends who invite me, but I'm like, okay, here's the thing. I've never snowboarded or skied before.
Right.
I don't want to come with you. I think it would be fun, but I don't know how to do this, and I don't want to come with you and like slow you down because I don't know how to do any of this. So I'd love to take classes and then, go ski with friends.
Probably a smarter call because honestly, I have weird anxieties about like snowboarding and skiing because all of the injuries that you could possibly get doing that. And so many people who even love snowboarding and skiing, they're like, oh, I got like a really bad injury and I can't play. And I'm like, oh, what happened? I broke my elbow. Like,
And I'm like,
I think there's a lot more that you can't do than like skiing and snowboard, pal.
yeah.
So I'm like, being the clumsy person that I am in general, I'm like, I gotta get this down before I go to the slopes.
I'm like, with my inability to balance, like I can already tell this is not gonna work. And you're like locked in. Your feet are locked in. I'm like, no.
No escape. You can't just like jump off like you can on a longboard. Because if you do that, if I'm going too fast, I just jump off. And then I'm fine and the longboard goes flying. You can't do that with a snowboard. You go with it.
You got snow, but if your ski is stuck in the snow, you're gonna twist an ankle or something. I've gone cross country skiing before. That's how
Okay.
I'm speaking from experience with that, where I've fallen so many times, even cross country skiing, which is just like straight path. I'm like, I'm falling just going on a straight path. I can't imagine going down a slope.
Oh my gosh, I know. And that's like half of the recreation things that you can do here in Montana is snowing, skiing, any sort of like snow sport. It's very big here.
I feel like
So
sledding would be fun, but we don't have good hills in the area I'm at, and
I
it's a
need
process.
to
You have to go load up the equipment, go out there. We used to go sledding in the golf course. I don't know if we're
Oh,
supposed to be
fun.
doing that, but we
Honestly,
used to when I
not
was
enough
little.
to do that here.
But yeah, and then Tessa said I've written 2 chapters and started 2 days ago.
Whoa,
Dang.
that's impressive.
Also got a new computer.
Uh,
Yes.
I need one of those because this guy's struggling. This computer that I'm working on right now has all my stories on it, all of my video editing software, and it also got me through college. So needless to say, I have used and abused this laptop so much, and it's showing.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just got a
amazing.
new one, but it's already showing and I'm like, "No, I just bought you."
No. I need to take advantage of sledding here. I just saw the comment saying like from Zara where she said that sledding is so fun. We actually have a hill literally like right next to my apartment and kids go sledding all the time. I just don't have a sled. So I need to get a sled.
Yes. I know. I think all ours are broken because we always get the cheap plastic ones that you buy at the hardware store. Just break.
Yeah. Oh my
But we
gosh.
still use them because we're Montanans. We're redneck Montanans, so we use that like little piece that's still left. It's a little bit jagged on the edge, but you just got to be careful and you just slide down on that little piece,
You know what? If it's not a little dangerous, is it even fun? The answer is no.
right? And then Tessa said, finished 2nd chapter for that sprint. I think that's awesome.
Awesome. Yay.
Okay. Oh, and the link is broken. Okay, I'll double check that
Oh
during this
no.
next sprint. If
Man.
not, just type in Jasmine Dayton and that should come up.
My profile picture has sunglasses on it.
Yes.
That's like way shorter. So I don't look like that girl anymore.
Then Maddie wrote about 10 words to figure out the spread for my October section of my bullet journal.
That's awesome. Love it.
I love watching all your videos, Maddie, about your bullet journal because I'm like, I don't have any good ideas. I want to do a bullet journal, so I like watching your videos because I'm like, ooh, I want to steal that idea. I
I
really
feel like
like that.
I feel like I've tried to make bullet journals so many different times, and every single time I try and make one, I'm like, I don't like it. And then I get frustrated that it's not perfect, which I know is not the point of bullet journaling. But then I'm like, now I don't want to do it.
Yes. Well, that's me even like I'm like I know you can tear out the page if you mess up or whatever, but I'm like I messed up on this first page. The whole journal is ruined. I'm just gonna have to get a new one and start over.
An excuse to get more notebooks, right?
Yes. I'm like, okay, or I'm gonna have to buy stickers to like cover up everything, all the
Right.
drawings I did on this. I'm gonna have to cover up the stickers or something. Yes, I agree with Sarah. And Charlotte wrote 250 words to the start of another chapter. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and the link worked. Okay. I'll still double check. Oh.
Well,
Okay. Well, I'll post. I'll. What am I trying to say here? The coffee's wearing off. I'll repost the link. We'll edit it during this next sprint.
sweet.
Yes, I also love seeing images of bullet journal spreads
Gosh.
and contemporary.
Okay.
Start working on this one. Do you know what snowboarders eat? Do they eat a good hearty meal? Protein? I'd say protein. I think carbs too, kind of like with any physical activity, to get the energy and stuff.
Yeah, I would guess so too. I never really considered that. Like, what do really good snowboarders eat to like stay in shape?
Yeah. I feel like I just found this out, and I think I found it out from Autumn on like a stream that I was on with Autumn or someone. they talked about that apparently when you're snowboarding and skiing, or if you're going to be doing it for a long time, people put on sunscreen, which I didn't even think about it because the sun reflects off the snow
Oh
and it
yeah.
can. I was like, I didn't even know that. Like, I've lived in Montana for 10 years. I didn't even know this. But
How frustrating would that be? Being like, what the heck? How did I get this humongous sunburn on my face when I was in, whatever like super low degree it is of all of this like snow? But yeah, when the sun reflects snow, it's blinding. It's
oh yeah,
yeah. That's why I always love it when it snows. And then I can open up my window for my videos because I get like the best lighting.
yes. Oh,
'Cause
our
it's
living room has like zero lighting, but we open up the windows and it's just like,
so
oh,
bright.
cereal. Yes, this is true. More cows than people. One of the first thing Helene ever said to me. Yep, this is a true fact in Montana.
I don't know if this I don't know if it's buffalo or bison. I'm still trying to figure out if those are two different things. But
Technically the same.
there's an albino little like bison, like literally 20, 30 minutes away from me. This little farm, he's all white.
Oh,
I know. I don't know if he's there still or not, but I hope he is.
that's so cute. Aw, I love seeing wildlife and stuff. Like we make visits to the bison range and see the different. Usually, it's more like uh, not mountain goats, maybe mountain goats. I don't know. There's not a lot of bison last time we went to look, but there's a lot of like goats and other animals and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's crazy when I first moved here of how many deer I saw. And at first I was like, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all the deer, and now I'm like, yeah, there they are. There's the deer.
Again, get out of my garden.
I know. Get out of my garden. I'm like, please get out of the road. Like,
Yes.
just like members of the community, honestly, because they know that they can't be hunted in the limits. So they're like so comfortable just walking around people's yards and just eating stuff. I'm like,
Yes. Oh, we used to live kind of like in a wooded area. I love that old house. We used to live in this, yeah, like I said, it was very, very wooded. And we would get deer, we would get bears, we would get turkeys. We had a bear actually peek in the bathroom window, and it was one of those bathroom windows that's like really high up, like on the top of the wall. And it was like a
was it
really
a
narrow one.
was it a black bear or a brown bear?
I think it was a grizzly. It would stand on, because it was a big bear, it'd stand on its hind legs and look through. And our neighbors actually, we didn't see it. Luckily, we weren't in the bathroom and seeing the bear peek in, but our neighbors saw it, like looking up in our window. They're like, hey, just want to let you know. That's actually how we met our neighbors, is because we would get them to call, like, they would call us up. Hey, just letting you know, we have a bear. Oh, by the way, hi, my name's Sandra. Nice to meet you. Like, we would connect with our neighbors through bear sightings.
That is so funny. But to be honest, I'm less scared of bears around here. I know that bears are dangerous. Like, obviously, if you get too close to them, I'm more afraid of moose.
Moose are scary sometimes.
You know that they can swim like 30 meters underwater?
Yes.
A moose does not need to do that. Like,
No.
that's terrifying.
Can you imagine like a moose just like coming at you under the water?
Snorkeling, just like, you're in my space.
Like, no, no.
Oh
And then
my God.
Gio didn't get anything done except make a thumbnail for my video. Thumbnails take a lot of time, honestly. Trying to upload twice a week. And if my Wi-Fi is cooperative, it'll happen. Yay!
Yay! I know that's always tricky with like the technicalities of that. I feel like you never really talk about that when you're on YouTube. Like all the stuff that goes kind of like behind the scenes of making the videos.
Yeah.
Nice and easy.
It's a lot of work. Like work, but like time, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah, a lot of dedication and time.
Yeah. No, you're right, Zara. I don't. I would love to. Oh, snowboarding's way more fun. Skiing, yeah.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard snowboarding is easier than skiing, which I would initially think the opposite because it seems like you kind of have more like range of motion with your legs, but that probably means you get into more accidents. So that makes sense.
Like I can't do the splits. I know I'm gonna be trying to do the splits if I'm skiing. Like it's gonna happen.
Right. The fact that my husband is more flexible than me should say something. It's not
I'm so bad. I used to dance, and I used to be like the most flexible one in my ballet class. Now I still dance. I do contemporary, but I can't do the splits or anything to save my life. So
It's hilarious. Oh man. Moose are mean. Yeah, moose are mean, Zara. They're so mean.
Yes. So I'm trying to catch up on all the comments here, so I'm gonna go through real fast, but I am reading them. You had me at summer sports. Yes. What are summer sports? I don't know what those are. I live in Montana. I don't do summer sports.
In the summer here, we float the river. In the summer, that's when people in Montana are lazy.
That's true. We float the river. We just near my area because I live in a more rural area. We literally have 1,800 people in the town I live in. Actually, we might be up to 2,000 now. We're expanding.
Oh, wow.
We just got like an indoor swimming pool a few years ago, so now we have that on the table for summer. Yes. Oh, Maddie, I would love you to help me make a bullet journal. Can you just make like a little template and I can like fill it in?
Right. Oh my gosh.
Swim and tubing. Yes. Tubing down the river is really fun.
So fun. At first, I thought it was like relaxing, like a lazy river, because that's really the only like tubing like thing that I did before I got to Montana. And then I went down the river, and the river is not a lazy river. It is
Nope.
like a fast river.
My uncle, who lived in Montana, he used to do like whitewater rafting tours. And so he used to like guide that. And he offered to take our family on a free whitewater rafting tour. And we were
Oh,
like,
that's
I was like so down. But then my little sister wasn't like a really strong swimmer. So we had to say no. And I was like, you could just take me.
what? Oh my gosh. I know. And whitewater rafting is expensive.
Yeah.
I charge so much for that. So I'm like, for free? I think yes.
Yes, please. Trying to focus on opening my story in a strong way. I started my story with the words, Am I dead? Ooh.
Really like that. That's so fun. That could be a really good like short story because I feel like with short stories you gotta like start with action right away. Like no introduction, just go.
Oh, yeah, there's no room, especially if you have like a 3,000 word limit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. And yes, I will check, make sure the link is working for Jasmine's because you all should check her out. She is amazing.
Thank you.
Except my main character's in the hospital after a car accident. She actually is dead. Oh. Love to snowboard, surprising amount for someone who's never done it before. Into the woods. Moose rhymes with goose, therefore it is evil.
Honestly, true. Yes. Anything that ends with OOSE, bad.
Nice. Also, I love this, Geo. I'm going through the comments real fast so that we can go ahead and get on to another sprint. I forgot to ask for a sprint time. Are we good with maybe doing another, like a 20-minute one? Maybe?
Yeah, that would be
Look it
great.
up. Sweet. Let me process and remember. Actually, do you want to do 2002 to make it fancy?
Ooh.
Spice it
Sure.
up a little bit?
Love it. Just add an extra couple seconds for us to like
Yes.
that we are out of time.
It gives you time to like put your fingers on the keyboard.
Right. I always like whenever I hear like the mute button go like back off for you, like you unmute your computer, I'm always like, oh no. Every time it happens whenever I'm in a live with someone, I like have to like put all my computer stuff away and also unmute me because I start talking thinking I'm not muted. And then
Oh, I do that. Yes. All right. So 2002 is on the clock. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that is you guys. Okay. Okay.
Ooh.
Yay! Also, the dryer's getting really loud over there. I had to open the door. Gonna move so I'm not just like a glowing orb. Okay. I had to open the door to this room, and the dryer's like right on the other side of the door. I had to open it because it's so cold. This room does not have much insulation in it. So I have like my little space heater like right next to my legs. Probably isn't safe. And I'm like, okay, hopefully you guys can't hear the dryer or anything in the background. But
I didn't hear anything, so I think you're all set. I always feel like noises are a lot louder to people when they're filming, because sometimes I hear things outside when I film my YouTube videos. I'm like, oh my gosh, sorry about the noise. And then I look back at the audio. I'm like, you really can't hear it unless you're looking for it. So I can never tell if people can actually hear like all the background noise. Like my husband was playing piano in the other room, and he was like, am I being too noisy? Like, should I like not play? I'm like, you're fine. Like, I'm pretty sure they won't hear it.
I just played piano in this sprint because I was reading in my humanities textbook, and we were talking about Beethoven, and so they had like little snippets of his sonata. So I was like, oh, I need to go see what this sounds like. So I went over.
Well, that is awesome that you know how to read music, because my mom was a piano teacher. I started taking piano lessons when I was 7, and I still don't know how to play piano because my mom was my teacher. It never works when you're home. Sure.
I can understand that. Yeah.
I've tried. I could honestly probably try again, and I would catch on to it just because I know the basics. But yeah, if people were like, hey, can you play a song for me? I'm like, no, not unless you give me like time to practice and really just like stare at the notes. Then I can do it.
I feel that. Also, sorry, I forgot to ask how you did for that sprint. I kind of just like jumped in.
Oh, you're fine. Well, for part of my little research, I actually got past all of my edits, which is awesome. So now I'm making brand new edits, which is great. And I've been stuck on one section for a while where I felt like I did a lot of telling and not a lot of showing. So I was stuck on that for a while, but then I got past that one, which is great, which made me feel happy. I kind of did like a half and half. And then it's funny that we were talking about moose, because in my story, my character gets attacked by a mama moose.
Yes.
And so,
I mean, not good for the character, but
right. But when I was like writing it, I realized I didn't actually know what a baby moose sounded like. So I had to do some research. And it's
is that what they sound like?
It's almost like they sound like goats, but cuter.
Aw.
Yeah, they're really cute. Little baby moose are very, very cute. Mama mooses are not cute. Oh. This is the most terrifying nature mom that I think you could ever run into. So, and that's what happens to my character, is he accidentally gets in between a mom moose and her 2 calves.
Oh no.
And he's too close to the point where no matter what he does, like the moose is basically going to attack him, and he has to try and outrun this moose, or at least like hide from the moose. So
dang.
Putting my deepest fears into my own stories, because that's what you do.
Yep, I feel that. I feel like moose are scary too, because you hear so much about how to defend yourself against bears living in Montana, but not so much like there's not really classes on moose safety, you know?
Yeah, literally all they tell you is if a moose is chasing you, the best thing you can do is hide behind a tree, because their eyes are like kind of pointing this way. So they can't actually like look forward. So they're like, if you hide right behind a tree and it's facing you, then he can't see you past, like, even if they have like antlers or something. But like with bears, you can like
clap to scare them or hit them on the nose.
Yeah, like you can do so many different things where bears will leave. But moose, they don't leave. And they're really, really picky about their space. So if you accidentally get close to a moose, literally you just like don't move. And that's all you can do. And you just have to wait for them to leave.
Oh, yeah.
Other than when you're like really like close right next to them and it's scary, they actually do look like very peaceful creatures when you're like.
Yeah, they do. They seem real chill until you ignore them.
And then they're not.
And so Zara had said I start my novels with action right away. This is going back to our old
Mhm.
conversation. I don't know how to start a story of any length any other way.
That's a
I like
healthy
that.
thing, though. Yeah, I think that is a really good habit because I feel like, especially with books that were written like probably like 2 or 3 decades ago, there's a lot of introduction and it can get slow. So I think that's really important to just organically introduce your characters throughout those experiences. So if you start with action, then the reader is automatically going to be like, whoa, like what's going on and trying to figure it out. So that's a really good habit to have.
Uh, then also, I reposted the link to Jasmine's channel, so let me know if it works.
Yay. Okay, awesome. Yeah, sorry
Oh,
about
it
that.
does.
Okay, yay. Awesome. I'm glad.
No dryers. Okay, that's good. That's good. Tempting to write a story with the main character somewhat unlikable for the first half of the book. It's really hard. I like that idea though.
Mhm.
That'll be interesting to find the balance of unlikable, but still the audience will still root for them. I feel like it's possible.
Yeah, well, you think of all of the really likable villains that are out there.
Loki, like,
And they're likable in the sense of like their backstory and like, the reason they do the things they do, it just kind of makes sense. Or they're just funny. Like humor, I feel like is the best way to make a character likable no matter what.
yeah. And I feel like Brandon Sanderson said something really cool about this. He was talking about like character slides. So you have like three main things to think about for every character. One is proactivity, one is likability, and one is competence. And so he
Mhm.
says that as your character gets higher and higher on the competence scale, with like even if it's just one skill, like if they're really good at being a good friend, like Samwise Gamgee, or if they're
Yeah.
really good at shooting a bow, like Katniss, and then the higher they also get on the proactivity scale, if they're really driven toward their goals, the higher that gets, their likability scale will automatically go up. So I thought that's
Hey.
interesting. Make your character competent in something and then make them proactive in at least something.
And then they'll be likable. Yeah. That's really
Oh,
I thought of that. That's really cool. That's good
yeah.
advice.
I was like, that's so simple. Like, there we go.
Right?
I mean, some might like her because of her annoyance level. Yeah. I did a quick 10-minute sketch. Yes. Yes, of Australian Batman. I want to see that so bad, Yaza.
Yeah.
And Michael got 445 words based on a random prompt as an exercise.
That's awesome.
Yes, I was clicking the link from the description of this live stream. Posted a link in the chat earlier. No, I reposted the link in the description. So hopefully that'll work. I could try to post the link in the chat too.
Right.
Let me know if it doesn't work for you, Zara. My book, after I finish my current trilogy, is going to have protagonists who I don't think is likable at all. Yes, villains, the characters you
We
love to
love
hate.
to hate. Making them
Yes.
likable. Well, and I think it's interesting because I think that characters, especially main characters, it's okay for them to be unlikable at first because then I think it gives so much room for character development. Because if your character just starts out so awesome, it's hard to build that character up and to make them like, even more likable. Because I would much rather have them be not as likable. And then in the end, I'm like, wow, they're incredible. I love them rather than the opposite.
Yes.
I've seen stories where that happens too, where I'm like, you were so cool. And then, like, there just wasn't really room for improvement. And then we just ended up not improving and we did the opposite. I don't like this character half as much anymore because of the experiences that they went through.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating for readers. I'm like, I wanted to like this character so bad. You made me love this character and now I don't.
Yes. Yes. And also, I feel like if the character is too likable,
Yeah.
then it can get annoying for a while. Like if there's no change, if they're just likable the whole way through, they don't make any hard choices. They're just like, I guess you call them Mary Sue or Gary
Mhm.
Stews. Like they get so annoying after a while. You're like, okay, make a mistake, please. I don't want
Mhm.
to root for someone who's perfect because you want to try to relate to the main character. If
Right.
the main character is perfect, you can't relate because no one's perfect, and it's hard to.
Right. And everyone has like their own like personalities with that. And if you show that your character's imperfect, it makes them more realistic. So
Yeah.
relate to them more.
I feel like Cardinal, the main. Ooh, I like that name though. Isn't unlikable because she's mean. Only because at the beginning, all she cares about is popularity. She's really insecure, which I think people hate. I feel like it could like I don't know. Some people could relate to it too, though, because I feel like, especially looking back to like high school and middle school, like popularity that was the thing, and it wasn't. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people strive for that too.
Oh yeah.
I thought making her really insecure would be a good, yeah, character arc because then it gives her some good development. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. I totally agree. I kind of feel that way about Harry Potter. Not gonna lie.
About Harry Potter himself or about like another character? Because I know there's a lot of people who really, really don't like Dumbledore now. Like there's this huge like thing where they're like, Dumbledore was the worst. Or I'm like, Dumbledore wasn't great, but I don't think he was bad. I'm very like on the fence of how I feel about him right now because it's been a minute since I've read the Harry Potter books. But I know that's like a big thing right now where they're like, Dumbledore's actually not great. When we thought he was really great and now he's not, which is interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, confession time. I've only read the first three Harry Potter books. I started the fourth one, but then my library hold expired. I watched like part of the movies, some of them.
Okay.
So one of these days I want to sit down and do a Harry Potter like book marathon, and like maybe talk about my thoughts on my channel. I think it'll be interesting because I'll be reading it as someone who is not within the age category intended for it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's like middle school to young adult. Like that's kind of how it progresses. So it'll be interesting to, I don't know, read it now rather than having read it when I was younger. But like what they did.
Yeah. Honestly, yes, they do. And it's a bummer because I'm like, why are you doing this to us? Why, Disney?
I know. My character's going to be a bully. While he might be relatable in some aspects, I doubt he's going to be likable. I don't want people to like him. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
About Harry Potter himself. I feel like, I feel like when you ask people, what's your favorite character in the Harry Potter world? No one says Harry Potter. It's someone else.
And I've noticed that's actually a common denominator in most books. Like, very few people say, oh, my favorite character is the main character. They usually say, like, the main sidekick or, the comic relief or the older kind of, like, mentor. That's usually, like, who the favorite character is.
Yeah.
I've never heard, I personally have never heard anybody saying Katniss was my favorite character. Some people might say Katniss is their favorite character, but come on, like, Finnick.
Yeah.
Like
even Effie, I liked her character.
Oh, Effie's great. Effie's the best.
I don't hate Dumbledore, but I don't put him on the pedestal I used to. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Harry can be annoying.
Yeah.
Dumbledore has confused me because he's this great, powerful wizard, and he's like, let's make this 11-year-old kid handle this himself, right?
I think that it's a good thing that the wizarding world of Harry Potter is so enjoyable because I think if it didn't have that aspect, there would be a lot of controversy of the plot holes that J.K. Rowling has because it's a long series. There are a lot of plot holes. And I've only really realized that being an adult, but I'm like, but it's so nice. Like, it's so cool. You can go to a little wizarding school. And that's the only thing I'm thinking about. So I'm like, I'll give props for that portion. That was written well. Because you made people love this world so much that even like in your imperfections of the plot, it didn't matter half as much to people, which I think is interesting.
Yeah. And then Gio, the lead male characters in my book were inspired by Draco Malfoy and Cedric Diggory because I feel like Cedric was a very interesting character who died too soon and Draco was just cool. I like that. That's interesting.
Oh my gosh.
Remus Lupin is my favorite character. He's only really featured in the third book.
Remus is the best. He's awesome.
I do remember liking him when I read the third book. My favorite character from her own series. Okay.
Honestly, yeah, I agree.
I mean, imagine your principal controlling your life, Dumbledore. That's kind of true. Is the concerned parent in the entire series.
I feel like Lucius is a really good representation of a Karen. Is that
Yes,
he
he's
is like
such
the
a
male
Karen.
he is the male Karen, except it's even worse because he literally follows the Dark Lord. So it's like he's not like hiding the fact that he's bad. Like he's just like, I'm a Death Eater, guys. And also it's like my son is always just constantly gonna go, my father will hear about this all the time.
100%. And then Charlie, everyone else is like, so my kid almost died today. How unfortunate, but how dare my kid not pass her exam? This is true. I've wondered that too. Like, I mean, obviously I haven't read the series, but I know like the main plot points. It's so popular. I've had this stuff spoiled to me at this point.
Can you
But
imagine Hermione Granger's parents being like, you did what at the school? Because I feel like they would be the normal parents of the world.
yeah, they're the dentists. You're like,
Excuse me? No wonder she like, oh, well, that would be a spoiler, so I won't say that. But anyway,
yeah,
I won't give you spoilers.
yes. Yes, to Snape.
Snape
I
is a
do.
good character. He's a very complex character, which I enjoy because I think people are still trying to figure him out.
Yeah,
Just
I like that. The reason I make Cardinal so unlikable is so that hopefully people would like her, but honestly, I wonder if maybe I should make her the main character. I mean, I think
well,
it depends on the story, you know?
I mean, the novella that I'm working on right now, the main character in the very beginning is very cocky. And like he's not very likable, but it's the experience that he went on that makes him a better and more likable person. So I don't think it's a bad idea to make your main character at the very least like have major flaws they need to work on. So
Yeah,
I think is like the definition, like the description of what you're giving this character. It does seem like she's going through it and trying to figure herself out. So, at one point we were all the villain to somebody, right?
yeah, this is true. All right, so I'm good to go ahead and start another sprint, if that's okay with you, Jasmine.
That would be great. I actually might switch my project here and work on my short story. So,
Yay!
yeah.
I just finished all the reading I need to do for my textbook for that sprint, so I'm gonna have to find another project to work on or like more school. I have a lot of assignments I need to work on, but most
Mm.
of them are lab because I'm doing a biology with lab, but
Oh.
it's an online class, so I literally have my lab like right here on my table. I don't know if I want to unpack all that and like start up an experiment in the middle of a sprint. So
Oh,
I
that would be
might just
hilarious to
rewrite
watch back, though. It's just like a writing sprint, and all of a sudden you've just got like a science kit, and everyone's like, "Am I in
stuff is bubbling. Oh no, oh no, oh
the?"
no. Explosions in the background. Oh, what was
I
that?
know. It's like it's a really good story.
It's for science. It's fun.
There you go.
All right. So do you want to I'm so bad. I keep forgetting to ask. Do you want to choose a number, Jasmine?
Oh.
And then I'll choose like the seconds.
So okay, sounds good. Um, let's do an odd number. We'll do 17 minutes.
Ooh, I like it. Okay.
Because it's not as long as 20, but it's also a little longer than 15. Because I feel like with 15 minutes, I was still kind of trying to like get my gears, rolling in my head.
That's perfect. Okay, I'll do 1725.
Sounds good.
Maddie, let me know what happened in the year 1725. I know you're our dates expert. All right, let's share screen. All right, 1725 is on the clock. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer in 3, 2, 1. All right, that is time, everyone.
Woo!
Yay! What
Uh,
everybody do for that one?
um, I did pretty good. I got past a point that I was a little bit stuck on. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm very big in writing action-packed scenes where I'm like, I feel like I could just write that forever. But scenes where they have to get from one place to the other drive me nuts. I'm like, how am I going to make this realistic? How am I going to make this interesting? It's rough. So I usually skip those parts, but I have to go back to them eventually.
Yes, I understand that. For some reason, all or not all, but most of the projects I'm writing happen to be travelogues where they're traveling or adventuring, and I'm like, why did I decide to write this? I hate writing transition scenes, especially traveling, because I don't like. I'm really description is one of my weak points, like specifically describing scenery. I can describe towns and buildings, but I'm like, they're literally traveling across the desert on this journey, and I'm like, why did I decide to write this? But
Right.
I feel that. Um, I did a little bit of beta reading and then I ate a little bit of food and I think I sat for a good while and tried to figure out what to do.
I
And
was
then I
about to
also
say,
then I contacted some people and did
go.
some admin things, but yeah.
It's always tricky whenever you switch to something new because you got to like reset your brain into a completely different like creative outlet that you've made.
Yes.
So I get it. I totally get it.
I see. Wait. Okay, so going back, Zara had said Snape's a great character, not a good person. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Snape was a bully. I can see that a little bit. He just does a wonderful job in the role.
Now, if you're talking about Alan Rickman, then absolutely.
Yes. I feel like everyone in the Harry Potter movies was perfect for their roles. I would
Mm-hmm.
agree. I have thoughts about Emma Watson as an actress in other films, but we're not going to get into that. But for the Harry Potter movies, what I've seen of them, I would agree.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah is here. Hello, Sarah. I don't
Oh.
know if you're still here, but hi. And everyone's saying hi to Sarah. Important question. How does everyone feel about the Harry Potter TV series coming out on HBO?
I don't know enough about it.
Yeah. I didn't even know. Like I'm with Maddie. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I saw like one kind of like news story about it. I'm not sure what they're gonna make, like if it's gonna be a reboot or if it's gonna be about the next generation of Harry Potter characters that there's so much canon for. So I'm interested to see what direction they decide to go in.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not like I don't know. I feel like sometimes with certain series that do really well, like you don't want to draw it out. Like you don't want to keep rehashing it. So I'm
Right.
scared. Hopefully it's good.
Well, and I also heard that they're trying to make a TV series for the Percy Jackson series because obviously the movies were just off.
They sucked.
They
They
were
were
so
bad.
bad. It was bad enough that it barely made a second movie, and then it couldn't even go further. So, and Rick Riordan is like a big like helper in the TV show. So I'm like, see, just get the author.
Good.
It's so much better.
Okay, I'm glad they are making the TV show because I think
Mm-hmm.
that Percy Jackson needs another chance
Mm-hmm.
at some
Agreed.
format. Yeah.
Agreed.
Not much happened in 1725, which was our sprint time. The Treaty of Vienna was signed, and then a lot of secret treaties followed between Spain and other countries. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Why does the word icicles looks like it's spelled wrong?
Am I
That
wrong?
that's true though. It's like icicles. Yeah, it looks like it should be wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, it doesn't it looks weird. I don't know why it looks weird.
And Zara made 2 Canva graphics. Nice.
Love it.
Michael 340 this time. Dang, Michael coming in hot with the word counts today. Sarah, I hate writing scenes that go from point A to point B. Yeah.
miserable.
I had a scene in another story that I was talking about. They're also traveling in this. Luckily, it's not the whole story, but this was for Project Goldwings, which is my Icarus retelling. And there was a scene where they were traveling through these caves. But the thing is, they're traveling through these caves for a long time, but it all happened. So it's like one chapter, one location, but like over, like I want to skip like 10 minutes, the 10 minutes of them walking. So I struggled with
Right.
how do I say, okay, time passes, then this conversation happens, then time passes, then this guy, like, how do I make those transitions work? Because I can't be like,
Yeah.
days later, they're traveling on this area of the world. Because no, they're in the same location. And it's just
Yeah.
like 10 minutes passing in between.
In the short story that I'm writing, there are a lot of different locations that they go to. But because of that, there's like the in-between traveling part. And usually I would just kind of like skip it. But in this context, I'm like, it wouldn't make sense if I skipped it because then the reader's not going to know like the positioning that they all need to be in.
Oh, yeah.
The action scene. So I wrote that and it was painful, but I was happy I did it because now I can finally move on to the part I've been wanting to write for the longest time.
Yes. Oh, and then Disney Plus already casting the Percy Jackson one. Okay.
Ooh, I'll have to look up who the cast is then. Hey, man, how about let's not tip over my plant? Thank you. Come here.
So I know we're getting close to the 2 hour mark. Do you want to do like a 5 minute mad dash to kind of close? Sweet.
You're so stressed. I know.
Aww.
You
Is this Lassie?
Yes.
Aww.
Such a hard life. I know. You live the hardest life of anyone I know. You attention hog.
No, my dog also lives the hardest life, apparently. The German Shepherd. She's the neediest dog I've ever met in my entire life. She, like, you walk across the room and she's, like, clean, like, right next to your leg. Just, like, pet me, pet me, pet me, pet me.
I'm going to take you away for a second, okay? So that someone can love you.
Oh, and Zara had said, I don't know if they've announced any of the cast yet, though. And then...
Well, that's good to know. All right.
I just looked up and you're holding this, like, giant dog. Oh, my goodness. They're so precious.
She's only 5 months old, so she's going to get really big.
Yes. Aw. One of my friends just got a Great Dane, and his paws are like the size of my palm. He's a giant pupper, and he's a tiny little dog right now, but he has the biggest paws, and he's just like so clumsy, so cute.
He's gonna be a big boy. All right, miss. Yes. Let's go say hi to Dad. I will be literally right back around the corner.
All right.
You can.
And Zara had said, my dog lives the hardest life too, never gets anything she wants. Oh, yes, never. Never. Oh, my dogs are so spoiled.
Woo.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer.
Perfect.
Yay! All right, 5 minutes are on the clock. This is going to be our last sprint in 3, 2, 1.
Woo. Okay, that was.
Okay. That scared me. Yay. All right. How did everybody do for that 5-minute mad dash?
Let's say that was probably one of the more productive sprints of the day.
Yeah.
One, because I felt rushed in a good way, where I'm like, okay, what are parts where I can put in like a lot of action where I can just like write it really write it really quick.
Nice. I know something about the really short sprints are nice because I feel like the longer ones you feel like you have a little more time to like get into it. But the short ones are nice because they like force you like, let's get going.
That's also a trick of how I clean my house faster is I set a 20-minute timer and then I just go.
Hey.
You get most things done in 20 minutes.
Wow. I'm gonna have to try that.
Sprint for chores.
Yes. Except okay, my problem is that I actually like organizing. So what would happen is I would start cleaning and then I'd be like, my closet is such a mess. I'm just gonna organize it. And then I just spend all day organizing it.
Oh, I know. I fall into that trap for sure.
Yeah.
Anything in the house because I keep on reorganizing it.
Yes. Oh yeah. For that sprint, I just did a little bit more beta reading.
Perfect.
Pretty good. And then the comments are loading. Go ahead and let us know how you guys did. Oh, it skipped. Michael said 203, but I think I accidentally switched verb tense. I mean, as long as you have the right verbs, you can just edit the tenses, as long as you have the words.
You can always fix it later.
Yeah. You got 203 in 5 minutes. Like, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes, I know. I'm that weird person who likes organizing things. I'm like, it's satisfying to me. It's like calming and yeah. But also, it can kind of get addictive. And I'm sure this is really weird that like I'm probably one of the few people in the world who are addicted to organizing. But it doesn't happen unless I start organizing. Once I start, then I'm like organizing all day. So
Oh my God.
All right, so I think we just hit the 2-hour mark. I think we're gonna come to the end of our stream today. Jasmine, do you want to do a little outro, another little plug for your channel before we end?
Sure. Well, I'm so happy that you let me on here, first of all, Helene. Like, I'm so happy I found someone to do lives with because I've been trying to look for people to do lives together, and this was so much fun. Like,
Yes, I love this.
It's way easier doing a live when you talk to someone rather than doing it by yourself because you're like sitting there thinking like, all right, like, I guess.
What else can I talk about? Yeah.
There's not much to talk about, so this is super fun. Also, if you guys, I guess hopefully the link is working. And I would love to see you guys because I honestly just love anybody who like comments or watches anything. I'm like, you are my favorite person in the whole world. Like, do you ever feel that way whenever people are like, oh my gosh, I watched your video? You're like, you did?
Yes, I'm like every time I get a comment, I'm like, yes. And then I'm so bad about commenting back, but that's usually because I'm such like I have to edit my comments. I have to like plan it out. Like I take so much time thinking before I comment back. So if any of you are wondering, like I do read all your comments as soon as they come up, and I'm always like, yes. I'm just really bad about responding back. So I promise I read them.
I try my very best to post things on Wednesdays. I've been bad about it because I've been having computer issues, but I usually post things on Wednesday, and I'm going to try and post things either on Thursdays or Mondays. We'll see how it goes, obviously, but but if you look out for Wednesdays, just around that time, I'm sure you'll hit like one of my videos throughout the week. So yeah.
Yes. And again, her channel is linked down below. If the link isn't working, it was working for some people, not working for others. So it's just Jasmine Dayton. If you type that in, that will also, it should pop up.
Oh, and I'm trying to do weekend sprints in the morning.
Yes, this was nice because I think we were talking about this earlier. Like it gets me out of bed on Saturday morning. And I got so much stuff done. I woke up early to get stuff out of the way. So yeah.
It works out perfectly. Yeah, I love it.
And thank you guys for joining us.
This is so fun.
All right. So once again, thank you all for joining us, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.